Hi, my name is Sjoerd, and together with Tiffany, Dide, and Bram, I did the Sustainable Product Service System in the domain of coffee. In this presentation, we'll go through different cases we've compared to each other, and we will give our conclusions. We made an overview of different product service systems in the domain of coffee, which you can see here in the matrix. The two cases we select to explore further are the collaboration between Moyer Coffee and Rotter Zwam, and we are comparing it to the Douwe Egberts Coffee Kitchen. So let's start off by just telling you a little bit by the Rotter Zwam and Moyer collaboration. It's two companies. Moyer is a coffee company which aims for fair chain coffee, which means that everyone in the supply chain gets an equal part or an equal share, so the coffee companies don't go away with all the profit. And Rotter Zwam, which is a Rotterdam-based company which uses used coffee grounds to grow mushrooms. So they want to get rid of a lot of waste that is being produced, and for this they use the coffee beans for Moyer, which they lease to bars and restaurants. Looking at the business model, we use a framework by Bokken, which uses value proposition, value creation, and value capture. We split Rotter Zwam and Moyer because it's two companies. The value proposition of Rotter Zwam is that they lease the fair chain coffee beans to restaurants and bars. In terms of value creation, they deliver the coffee beans and collect the coffee grounds, and they use them to grow mushrooms. So by also reducing waste that way. In terms of value capture, they get paid based on the amount of coffee that is consumed at the restaurants and bars, and that also influences their production of mushrooms and other products. Moyer has a value proposition which is based around responsibly sourced and produced coffee beans, and they have a positive impact on society in countries where they are active. In terms of value creation, it is about the local production, washing, and roasting of the coffee beans, which they ship and distribute to their main markets. And of course, they supply to Rotter Zwam. The value capture for Moyer is the sales of the coffee beans and other coffee products, and the social value they create is the increase in quality of lives for the local people where the coffee is grown and produced. So the next thing where we looked into for the cases is the archetypes, which is also a framework by Bokken. So for Moyer and Rotter Zwam, it is deliver functionality rather than ownership, substitute with renewables and natural processes, and create value from waste. Next to that, it's also adopt a stewardship role and scale up solutions. Now let's look at the Douwe Egberts Coffee Kitchen. The Coffee Kitchen is a new concept since 2014, where Douwe Egberts wants to enter the office market for coffee, which is growing, and the office is becoming more and more of a nice place to be, so they want to add to that. In terms of the business model, they apply to two different groups, which are the workplace and the customer themselves, because it's a B2B2C solution. They offer the coffee kitchen for free to the workplace, and they let the employees, the workers, pay the coffee. So the value proposition for the workplace is a free coffee facility and service, which makes the office a more hospitable place. In terms of value creation, it's all about the service and maintenance by the e-professional, and everything, the entire coffee kitchen and experience around it is fully designed. So even the espresso machine is completely custom designed. Looking at the value proposition for a customer, it's about high quality coffee and a lot of choice, with an inspiring and relaxing place where they can distract and distress. In terms of value creation, it is really the feeling of being the barista yourself and just getting away from the working ritual. The value capture, as said previously, they sell coffee on a pay per cup basis, and they, with this concept, Douwe Egberts stays at the forefront of development in the coffee consumption, because it's really moving to specialty coffee. And in terms of archetypes, it is only deliver functionality rather than ownership. So moving on to the Giga map, which you can see here, we have displayed the two supply chains of both the Douwe Egberts and Milieu Rotterdam. Moving on to the comparison of the cases, we do the comparison based on the business model and the archetypes. So similarities on the business model between the two are that they are both innovative, because Douwe Egbert also has a project which does repurposing coffee waste, which is a project in Enschede, and Rotterdam and Milieu also offer a solution for the office. The differences are also quite big. They have B2B2C versus B2C, because Douwe Egberts sells to the customer through the company, and Rotterdam and Milieu only sell to the customer. Next to that, it's also linear versus circular. Douwe Egberts is very product focused, and the collaboration is service and use focused. In terms of archetypes comparison, they both deliver functionality rather than ownership, but the difference are that Rotterdam and Milieu are two very two entire companies instead of just the only initiative from Douwe Egberts. So Douwe Egberts is a specific initiative for one purpose, and the focus for the collaboration is becoming a fair chain company. So a lot more archetypes are involved with that. The discussion of the comparison. So let's move on to how we have compared them and if it was good to compare them this way. So the two things we discussed are the Gigamap and the archetypes. A pro for the Gigamap is that it gives a nice quick view, easy to observe the differences between the two supply chains. The only thing is that it clearly shows the relationship and actors, but less so the points of improvement. In terms of archetypes, positive is that categorizing the product service systems makes it easier to differentiate themselves, but the negative is that the product service system of Milieu was a lot larger leveled than Douwe Egberts, so comparing might be a bit misleading. For the final conclusion, what can the two cases learn from each other? What can DE learn from Milieu and Rotterdam? Well, how to become a fair chain and ethical company, how to make radical innovations, and how to reduce waste in a productive manner. In terms of what Milieu and Rotterdam can learn from DE is how to grow, offer multiple services as one business, and how to improve brand awareness and experience. So that was it. Thank you very much for listening.